At the moment, it's hard not to be bullish on the Cairns property market. If you've been keeping an eye on the sales market, you would have seen that prices really are starting to increase. And if you're an active buyer out there in the marketplace, the chances are you've missed out on 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 properties as you're out there hunting, because the buyer demand is fierce. Now today I want to talk about 5 reasons why I'm really bullish on the Cairns property market and why I think this strength that we are seeing in the market is going to continue throughout the rest of the year and well into 2022. The first reason why I'm so bullish on the Cairns property market is our rental vacancies are basically non-existent. Pretty much every rental property our office is putting up for rent is seeing multiple applications in the first week and seeing substantial rental increases on what the previous lease was in place. So that's leading to greater rental yields, and that's helping investors really see value in our market. It's not uncommon to find properties up in Cairns returning 5, 6 or even 7% yields, and that is a very attractive option, especially if you are looking for a high cash flow property or a property that is going to give you a positive return. The second factor of why I'm really bullish on the market up here is new builds are limited. It's not like there's 1,000 new properties being built at the moment. At the moment, building is rare and the cost of building is going up. If you have a look over the Cairns environment at the moment, we do have a bit of building happening in the southern corridor, so down towards between Edmonton and Gordon Vale. There is a number of new builds going on down there, but it wouldn't exceed the number of 200 or 300 properties in the last 12 months. The growth down there, while is considerable, really isn't affecting the market as an oversupply. And the same goes for the northern beaches, where our other sort of building corridor is happening. The land supply out that way is very limited, and once again there'd only be a couple of hundred houses being built with a population of 180,000 currently in Cairns. 300, 400, 500 new homes really isn't a drop of water in the pond, so to speak. So the fact that there isn't an abundance of new builds happening at the moment is really keeping supply low, and with demand so high, it means that prices can only really continue to go upwards while we continue to see the population in Cairns here increase. The other factor to consider on that point is the cost of building. The cost of building has skyrocketed massively, especially with the shortages of timber and also the building labour shortage. There's not an abundance of builders out there ready to build at the moment. The builders that are building in Cairns are booked out for many months to come. So that's really creating that bit of a perfect storm where we're seeing the cost of new builds increase, and that's making the existing properties look even more attractive. The third point that makes me really excited about the Cairns property market is the migration wave that I really strongly believe is coming and that we've already started seeing. With the lockdowns happening in Sydney and Melbourne, it's really creating that perfect storm for people to want a lifestyle change and a shift. If you've been locked in your house for 18 months down in Melbourne, you're probably starting to get pretty sick of seeing the inside of your home. And that's where the idea of a sea change or a tree change or just moving out of your current property becomes really appealing. And the truth of the matter is, if you lose 30,000 people from Melbourne, that really doesn't shift too much down there. Where if we have, say, 2,000 people come to Cairns, that's 1% increase on our population. And with that shortage of new builds and already a shortage in the rental market, that really adds fuel to the fire and will help continue to drive up both rental prices and sales prices into the future. And I really see that wave as already starting to come, but once those borders open back up with New South Wales and Victoria, I think we're going to see a lot more people landing on the ground up here and hunting for properties to make their move, especially come the start of the new school year and when people can start getting job transfers up this way. So that's another factor I'm really excited about and keeping a close eye on. The fourth factor that really excites me about the Cairns property market is it's still a very affordable price point. The average property price up here for a house is sitting just over 400,000. So that's very, very affordable, especially when you compare it to the likes of Sydney, Canberra or Melbourne, where your price points are sitting well over $1 million. And means that people can sell up down there, buy up here into a much more affordable price point where they're pretty much paying 50% of the price that they would down south and have a much smaller home loan. So that affordability is going to be a very big draw card, and especially for those buyers that may not have actually been able to get into the Sydney and Melbourne markets, to be able to come up here as a first home buyer and buy something around that 400,000 mark is a very, very appealing option. And further fueling this is that low interest rate environment we're seeing at the moment. At the moment, if you're looking at fixing your home loan, there is rates well under 2% on offer. So that makes buying really affordable, and like I say, that's really that affordability situation at the moment in Cairns is making it a really attractive destination for people to move here. The fifth and final reason why I'm really excited about the Cairns property market is that tourism is going to return here, and tourism is really going to boom at the end of this Rona situation. You've only got to look back to May and June, and Cairns was absolutely flying. Domestic tourism was exceeding our numbers pre-COVID, and the biggest challenge that businesses were facing were finding staff. So once the situation in New South Wales and Victoria sorts itself out and we start opening up the country again, we're going to have a lot of people move to Cairns to fill those jobs and fill those roles as the tourism sector really starts to boom again. And once again, if you've been locked down in your house in Sydney or Melbourne for coming on to 18 months, you're probably going to be well overdue for a holiday. So I think that the travel sector is really going to see some serious action at the end of this pandemic. And I think people are going to be more inclined to first holiday domestically before they then start venturing back overseas and doing international travel. So I think we've got a couple of years of really strong tourism ahead of ourselves, and that's going to really start to come to shine when the domestic borders start opening up and things start coming good. And obviously with more jobs and more business opportunities up this way, it's going to add further fuel to that migration movement that I really predict is going to be a big factor coming into next year, into 2022. So there you have it. That's 5 reasons why I'm really excited about the Cairns property market and really quite passionate to see what happens over the next coming sort of 2 to 3 year period, as I think it could be a really strong period of performance for the Cairns property market. So if you are considering investing up this way or buying into the market, possibly doing so sooner rather than later could really see some strong benefits. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I bring out heaps of content to do with the Cairns property market, as well as property investing advice in general. So have a look at some of our other videos, and I look forward to talking to you soon.